Okay, so how many of you know? And I like to keep this as interactive as possible. I know being it online, it's tough to do that, but please go ahead and say yes or no if anything I'm asking, and would be more than happy to get some output from you. So, how many of you heard about OpenAI or ChatGPT? Okay, I can hear some sounds. So okay, so Gen AI, ChatGPT was created by OpenAI, and the co-founder is this guy. So what it says is, it has revolutionized the way we create and consume content. I'm sure everyone would agree on this because a lot of content that we now consume or create has been through ChatGPT or any of the other Gen AI tools like DALI or let's say Bard, right? I personally have not even written a single personal or a LinkedIn post from the past 6 months not using Bard or ChatGPT. So that's how efficient this has made us. Also for writing emails, I've been using this. So it has really changed how we create or consume the content. So how the traditional programming used to work, right? We used to say, okay, this is an animal, it has a foreleg, it has 2 ears, and it has fur. It would be a cat, right? We used to train our or let the computer know all these details, and then we used to tell, okay, this is cat. Then around 2012, what happened is then came about neural networks, wherein we used to train, okay, this is a cat, this is not a cat, and on basis of those training, it will then we show a different picture which is not similar to what we have trained on. It is still able to predict, okay, this is a cat, right? So then came the generative AI model. Now what we have done here is we have given him huge pile of data and just told him, okay, now read about this and tell me what you know. And then you ask, okay, what is a cat? Then you'll say, okay, cat is an animal, it has 4 legs, da 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 da, da all those things, right? So this is how generative AIs have changed our traditional and the neural network ways of building the models. Now I'm sure everybody would have heard about prompts, right? Now, what happens is, I'm sure you have seen that if you give a prompt to Bard or ChatGPT in a way, and it does not give you a good answer, right? How many of you have seen this or experienced this? Yeah, I can see a few people. So, what happens is, writing a prompt is a simple thing, but designing the prompt is a whole different game. We have to be very specific. I'm sure you would have seen a lot of cheat sheets as well, wherein you say, okay, you ask the question in this particular way, then you will get a good answer. So that's what is prompt design, wherein it says art and science of figuring out what text you should feed to the language to get the behavior that you want. And prompt is just putting out here simple prompt. Now there are different types of prompts. The first one is zero shot prompt, wherein you just go ahead, give him no examples, and just type anything, and you expect him to answer your prompt, answer to your prompt. Now this is most of the people what they do, right? This is how it goes by. Few people like to try something called as one shot prompt, wherein you give him one example. Okay, this is the question that I would ask, and this is the output that I would expect. Now, then you ask him the question, then he'll give you a similar way. He'll give you the answer in a similar way. You have actually asked. So that's the difference between one shot and zero shot. And few shot is multiple one shot eventually becomes few shots. So you give him 4 or 5 examples, and then he's able to answer on basis of that. So that's how it a few short prompts work. I'm not sure if you have tried this out, but we'll definitely look through some examples as we go ahead. So one of the service that GCP launched was Model Garden. The way it has changed is, it is a repository of pre-trained ML models, and you can just do click and deploy any types, not any type, but a lot of ML models that are growing day by day. So I think now they have like 8 or 10 models which you can just do one click deploy and it will deploy it. The different types of models that are available as image classification, object detection, NLP, and speech recognition. So There was one uh, game company which also used Gen AI to build the characters of the games. So they have used no graphic designers, just using Gen AI. They have created the characters and launched it in the game, and it is working fine. So that's the power that's changing a lot of the fields. We are also using in creating arts and design, as you have seen. A lot of places, the images that we see, I'm sure you have seen a lot of images on social media as well, which are generated using Gen AI, and it cannot be generated in any other way. Like some things which cannot be possible, which are not possible, right? We can think about them, ask the generative AI to create that images, and we can see that image, right? So that is something has changed. Data visualization, wherein let's say you have a data in your CSV file, right? And you just want to create a visualization over that. Let's say you have data of housing data of the London. I think everybody has seen that Kaggle repository, wherein you have a data of housing prices from, I don't remember the year, but for like 10 years or so. And then you just want to visualize, okay, in which area has the prices grown at a rate faster than 10%. Let's say you ask such kind of example. It is able to create that code, which will eventually, plot at using Matplotlib. So that's something really fantastic that we can do. A few more use cases like our image classification, wherein on single click, without doing any training, you can do a classification of, let's say, dog or cat with doing zero classification, zero training. Then you can also do text classification, wherein, let's say, I give you a text and say, uh, what is the which type of text is it? Like um, which let's say not text. Let's say I give you a proper article from a newspaper, and then you are asked, okay, what is the type of this article? Yeah, then it could belong to sports, entertainment, technology, any kind, right? So you can do this kind of classification as well. Then there is something called as sentimental analysis. So based on the text, you are able to predict, okay, what is the sentiment of the text. So all of these are possible. And yeah, also you can do question answering, wherein you ask one question and keep on asking questions related to the things that you have asked earlier, and it will still remember, okay, you have asked this, and I'm still talking about the same thing, and it will be able to answer that. I'll show you an example of this as well as we go ahead. Anyone has any questions around this till now? And all the images have been created using Gen AI, and I've also put what are the prompts that I've used to create those images. Yeah. So before that, I like to show what is the code. Like we have a perception, right? Okay, this code will be very tough to build, or all of those things. But if you see, to create just an image, this is the amount of code that I've used. So I'm sure everybody has used Python, right? And if not, it's still very easy. So you just do two import statements. You give a prompt, then you called a model called Kandinsky. This is a open source model present on Hugging Face. And then you give some parameters here, and you do generate text to image, give him few more parameters. This 480 by 854 is the, the aspect ratio in which you want that image to be done. And then you just call display image, and that's it. That's really the code that you have to use. For your guidance, I've also put this code at the end of my slide, a link to the code at the end of my slide. It's a Jupyter notebook. You can easily use that as well. Okay. Do you think this is good? I mean, just this much line of code can generate images like this. Wherein if you see, the text that I put was lots of bird with lots of trees and flowers. Okay. I'll like to move to the next one, which says sharks inside water with corals. So if you see, it has also understood, okay, I have to put in sharks. It has also put in corals at the left and the bottom. So it is able to take up each and every detail that we ask him for. Now let's move ahead. So I've also asked him red dog, red cat, which is not possible, right? But just in your imagination, if you want to, if you see, the sharpness it has. Again, here the sharpness. So it's not a very low quality image also that it is putting out, right? It's a really, really high quality image that is able to put out, right? This is also a good one wherein you say living room made with modern architecture, right? Of course, you'll need such kind of land, but yeah, it's a really good architecture. But let's say you are not into modern architecture, you are into ancient architecture. And so what I mean, what we are able to do here is, let's say, you go to an architect, you don't like, how does it happen right now, right? You go to an architect, you talk to him, okay, I want this, that. He's not able to give him a good quote or something like that, right? But you can just think about it, put what you want here, and you'll be able to visualize it right there and there. Let's say you don't want modern architecture, you can go for ancient architecture, wherein looks like a very ancient architecture, right? Okay, let's say I was not there. What? Let's say I was definitely not there 100 years ago, right, in New York. But I want to see how New York looked 100 years ago. Of course, this is not an actual pic, but if you look at the cars, it is from the ancient era. If you look at everyone, they are wearing coats, right? Everybody at that time too used to wear coats, and it does look like a very nice image of New York 100 years ago, right? And believe me, this is also a generated image. Okay, now this is a beautiful beach, people playing in water, beautiful sky with sunset. So I was trying to, and as we go ahead, I'm just trying to break the model, right? I'm trying what all things, like I'll add so many things and I'll see where it fails. So here I tried so many things, right? Beautiful beach, people playing in water, beautiful sky, and also a sunset. So it is able to get everything, right? How many of you watch anime, by the way? Yeah, one, two, maybe. So I kept the same text and I just added in anime style. And this is the output it is able to get. Yeah, looks like an anime, right? Okay. And this is one of my favorite, the last one. Again, like I told, right, I was trying to break the code. So I tried, mud house with waterfall, in the swimming pool with sofa and fireplace. So of course, this is not possible, right? I mean, not in a normal house, you'll see a waterfall is there, and there's also a sofa, there's also a fireplace. But if you have to imagine, and also this is a mud house, right? So if you have to imagine things like this, and you have to, see how it would look, yeah, it looks like a pretty good image. And then the text that I showed earlier, right? Minions on move. Okay, now we'll move on to text generation. Do anyone of you have any questions around image generation? Okay, so for text generation, all we need to do is this hardly 4 lines of code, which also includes one as the definition, one as the print. So if you look at it, it's just 2 lines. Or of course, there's one import statement that I forgot, but don't worry. I also have put that image in my Jupyter notebook at the end of the slides. So here what I just do is, text generation model dot from pretrain, and this is the name of the model, text Python. And then you do model dot predict prompt, and temperature is, how much hallucination that you want. So let's say if you keep temperature, so the value goes from 0.1 to 1. So if it is near to 0.1, it will not go, like it will not try a lot of different things. But if it's near to 1, it will go haywire and try a lot of different things. So that's how it works. So these are some of the examples that I like to show. So the first one is ad copy generation, wherein let's say you want to build an ad, and let's say you work in a marketing company and you want to build an ad. So what I did here is I just took the first line from iPhone 14 text from the Wikipedia, and I just gave him, and I told, okay, the loss aversion, appeal to ego. So let's say for the example, it says iPhone 14 is the perfect phone for the modern professional. Right? Appeal to ego. Exclusivity is, the iPhone 14 is the phone that only the elite have. So creating that kind of exclusivity and then marketing it, right? A lot of marketing firms are actually using this to generate their marketing ads and all of those things. It has really made their job a lot easier. Sounds good? Okay. Now this one is a funny one, wherein let's say, how would a pirate talk? This is the question, and I ask him, "Hi friend, how are you?" And then I ask, "Okay, how would a pirate talk, or how would a pirate say to this?" So it says in a very piratey way, right? "I be doing well. Thank you kindly for asking. How we do within this fine." So of course I don't know how to speak a pirate language, but yeah, that's about how they talk as well, right? So let's say full sail ahead and how they're matey, full sail ahead, yes, yeah, so all of those things, right? This is how a pirate would talk. And if you are able to imagine that, if you want this to talk in that way, of course it will not talk, it will send a text, but of course you can put this text to speech to text, text to speech, and then he'll be able to generate that. Okay. The next one is witty comeback. So this is a text from a tweet from Elon Musk. You can go ahead and check. It was around 4th or 5th of October. So it says, "I only have zero point 0.4 donuts at a time because my brain neural network quantizes to down to 0 donuts." And then I have put a short and a rude roast. So that's how I'm asking him to roast, right? So it has also come with a very good comeback, right? I'm not surprised your brain neural networks quantized to 0. It can't handle anything more complex than that. So yeah. So if you want to, roast someone on social media, of course I'll not say you do it, but that's something that you could potentially do. Let's say you're not so good at coming up with a witty comeback, might as well use this, right? So, okay, object classification. Now, what I've done is I've told what is the category of the object, and I've given him few categories. And then I told him, okay, the text is recliner. What is the category? So it says chair, right? Of course, it's chair is a kind of a recliner is a kind of a chair. Then there is something called as British short hair, which I recently got to know. It's a type of a cat. But yeah, it is able to correctly predict, okay, British short hair is a cat. And husky, I'm sure everyone knows, it's a type of a dog, right? So without training, without doing anything, it's easily able to predict all of those. Okay, so what I've done here is from Harry Potter Wikipedia page, I've put the entire text from Wikipedia and given it to the model, and I've asked him few questions around this. So the question could be name the character. So it is easily able to predict, okay, Harry Potter and his friend Hermione and Ron Weasley. Right? You say estimated worth of Harry Potter books. So it is able to predict it was estimated at 25 billion. So it's given. So if you have seen Wikipedia page of Harry Potter, it's so big, right? Even from that, it's easily able to catch any question and easily able to answer you within like 1 or 2 seconds. So and just using those 4 lines of code, that's it. This is something I was speaking earlier, right? It remembers what we were asking. So you say, who's the president of US? So it says Joe Biden, and then say, what is his height? Then it says his height is 6 feet 1 inch. And then you say, okay, what is his wife's name? So it will also still remember that and will again answer accordingly, Jill Biden. So that's also a very useful thing. And I'm a lot of chatbots that are in production or maybe in use for public are actually using GenAI and able to answer all of these things very easily. Okay, now this is where it gets interesting for you as a developer. So I'm not sure how many of you are good in SQL, but I'm not so good in SQL. For let's say, right? So I just whatever query that I have or whatever I want to I showed earlier, but putting that on ChatGPT is not so good. You have to go there, here, all of those things. But let's say you want to build your own app, wherein you just say, okay, you can come up with any kind of query questions, and I'll give you a SQL query for that. And not only SQL for that matter, you can also do MongoDB, Elasticsearch, GraphQL, any kind of queries. Okay, so let's see what happens here. So you say get the max salary of employees for all department. So it has just given a simple query, select max salary from employees. Now you are making the query tough and tough. So you say employee max salary of employees from each department. So it has now gone and done a group by on department ID. But let's say you want the department name, which is not there in the departments in the employee table. It's in the departments table. So you say employee from you get the max salary of each departments and get the department name from the department table. So you give him specifically that. Now what it has done is it has selected this, also done the from, also done a join on this department ID to D dot department ID and group by department name. So that's how is easily able to get that data as well. Yeah, sounds good. And like I told, you can do this for SQL. This is the GitHub link. If you want, you can scan this. And this has all the code that I've shown till now, and you can easily use that Jupyter Notebook. For the image generation one, I'm not sure if everybody has a good enough laptop which will handle all the graphics thing. But for that, you can just use Google Colab, which is a free to use Jupyter Notebook kind of a platform, which will give you free GPU as well. Of course, for some limited amount of time, but yeah, you can definitely use that. Okay, I hope everyone has taken this link. Okay, the next thing we'll like to talk is Duet AI. So Duet AI is recently launched by Google, and I like to. This is visible, right? The GCP. How many of you have logged into GCP by the way, or have a GCP account? Please raise your hands, or maybe put in the chat. Okay. So how the people who have raised hands, do they have the questions, or is it for the question that I've asked? Okay. So maybe I would say 4 or 5 people have logged into GCP. Uh, I would urge you to please log into GCP some way or the other. I know it requires a credit card; it becomes a bit tough for that. But I would say find some like if you can ask your parents, set a limit that okay, if my cost goes above 100, give me a alert, and it will easily give you an alert. All of these things you can easily set up, but I will really urge you to start using GCP as and when possible. Okay, so if you log into GCP, by the way, Duet AI, what I'm going to speak is still in private preview. So it will not be available if you logged in tomorrow itself, but eventually when you log in, you'll be able to have a look at it. Okay, so if you see, this is one new tab that they have added, which says Open Duet AI. So what you can do here is you can ask any type of question and you'll be able to get the answers as well. How many of you, by the way, use VS Code? Yeah, 5, 6, 7. Wow, I think a lot of people use VS Code. Nice, nice. Okay, so this will be even better for you. So I'm sure everybody who has VS Code has opened this. Uh, if you see, there is a Duet AI tab here as well. Right. So if you click on it, of course, to get this, what you need to do is you need to install a plugin called Google Cloud Console. And that when you install that, of course, as of now, it is not available, but when it will be available, you will be able to see this as well. Okay. So this is like a, a Gen AI model, which it is integrated into a VS Code. You can ask question right here itself. You don't have to go to any other tab or any other place. You just ask question here itself, and you're able to get the answers here. So this is something I like to show. But before that, one more thing that I want to show is, let's say what Duet AI can also do is, I mean, this is something they have launched very recently. What Duet AI used to do first was give code answers for your question. So let's say you have this. Let's say this is the code, right? I had a function to copy file from local to GCS bucket. I'm sure everybody would want to do this, but you don't want to write this code. You don't want to go to another, let's say, Stack Overflow and copy data or let's say code from there. You do nothing. You just come here, you do generate code, and that's it. It has generated the code for me. If you see copy file to GCS, it has also put all the import statements and all of those. The next thing, let's say we like to try is I'm sure a lot of you have used pandas. If not, you can try this out. So let's say you write a function to read a CSV file and drop all the documents which does not have a student ID, right? A simple business use case that you want to do, and let's say you ask him how to do it. That's it. So it has created CSV generate. It has failed this time. Of course, it does fail as of now, and it does not work 100% of the time. But yeah, that's how it is as of now because it's still in preview. Let's see if it works for this. And it used to work. Like I've tried all those tests. It were working maybe 3 or 4 days ago, but okay. So this has worked fine, right? Write a function to generate RSA encryption and decryption using private key with example. So it has created all this function, encrypt, decrypt. It has also given us examples. So let's say put hello world text, encrypt the message, decrypt the message, all of those things, right? So easy. Of course, it is still in preview. That's why it's not working 100% of the time. I'm sure when it gets into GA, it will be really, really awesome. Let me try this one last as well. Hope it works fine. So function to classify animals in the image using the ImageNet. So ImageNet is one type of a model. Let's say it has worked. I'm not sure if I've seen this code earlier, but I'm hoping this is the correct code. If not, yeah, so what I've done is I've written a very, very simple Python code, which is a calculator. So it is add, subtract, multiply, divide, and all of those things. Right? I've just taken this somewhere from internet. Now, this is not the important part. The important part is when you come into, let's say, so of course in college and all, you don't write test cases. But in companies, you have to write test cases for each of the code that you write. And when I mean by test cases, I don't mean the automation testing. I mean the unit testing. So let's say you want to create a unit test file for this. All you have to do is, let's say I've already written that prompt, ask do it AI, write test cases for this file in a single file. So when we say this file, it understands, okay, we are on this file and we are talking about this file to it AI. And we just, if you put it, what up? Okay, let me reopen this. I mean, it's a risky thing to show something which is in preview, of course. But I really wanted to show this. This is able to answer. Is it? I don't know, something issue while copy pasting, but yeah, now it has taken right test cases for this file, and it has also given me all the test cases, right? So it has created a class for test calculator, test add, assert equal. I'm sure everybody, if not, you can read about this. Assert equal is something that you could use to see if these two values are same. So it has used the add functionality from here. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 5 minus 3 is 2, all of those things it's easily able to do, and also created a main file for this. And now it's say insert in the current file, it can do that. Let's say open in a file, or you can copy to clipboard, create a new file. All of those things you can easily do just right from here. Of course, I don't know what happened while copy pasting, but yeah. Yeah, one more use case that I want to show is, let's say you don't know how to create a VM on GCP. Let's say I want to create IITG, yeah, right? So you ask here, or let's say if you ask here, it's the same thing by the way. So let's say I ask command to create a VM with 8 core CPU and Ubuntu 20 OS with name IIT GVM. So all of those things, right? I try to break him as much as possible, and let's see what it gives me as the answer. Yeah, it has given me a great command, right? So Google Cloud Compute instance, IITG is the name of the instance name, zone, Ubuntu also it's able to do, so 2004 is like Ubuntu 20.04, which is the LTS version, which is the very stable version. Um, if you want, you can just do copy. If you want to run this in the Cloud Shell, you copy to Cloud Shell, you can do copy to Cloud Shell, enter, it will directly create a VM for you. So things have become so easy using Duet here, right? Um, Anything more that I want to show? Yeah, this one. So BigQuery is an SQL, a type of database where you can write SQL query to get outputs. So this is a GCP service, by the way, and we are looking at one of the examples called it yellow trips, wherein it has data for the trips a yellow taxi has taken in I don't know which country though, but somewhere around the world, right? So the important thing is I don't want to write any queries, or let's say I don't know SQL. I just want to get some output out of it. So what I do is I do get max fare from, and this is the table name, right? So I have to just give him this much, and after this I just do enter. If you see it start rolling, it says select max fare amount from data to inside this thing. Now, if you look at this closely, I just told him fare, right? But if you look here, the actual column name is fare amount, and it is able to get that perfectly. So we got the fair amount. I'm talking about fair amount, and it got that correctly. Now let's make it a bit more complex. So you say get sum of fare for each vendor ID from this one. Now let's see what it happens. Yeah, select some fair amount, comma vendor ID from data to inside this table name, group by two. By the way, even I was not aware that you can do something like this, like group by two, and two is for vendor ID. And it does work fine. Let's say if you want, I can show you by running it. Yeah, it has done a group by on vendor ID. Just to clarify, I can also do the same thing using this. Yeah, it gives me the same answer, right? So it's gone even beyond what I know. I don't know if everyone of you know, but this is something I did not know. Let's say I've given more complexity. So get the time difference between pickup and drop off from this table. Specifically told pick up date time and drop off date time. I've just told pick up and drop and get the date difference. Now it also understands, okay, date difference has to be drop off minus the pickup, right? Okay, of course it has to fail. This is really weird. It actually worked like hardly a week ago when I was giving the same example at one of the other colleges. Yeah, so sorry for this, but believe me, it does give out that answer correctly. I'm sure if this gets out of preview, it will be way better. Yeah, see, in this for some reason it has given me the answer, right? So I say, give, uh, give me the difference between pickup and drop off in minutes. So if you see, it has correctly done time def, drop, date time, pickup date time, and that too in minute as pickup drop date time minutes from this one. And yeah, that's the query. So I think I do not have anything more to show as of now. Sorry for all the hiccups. Like I told, it's still in preview. Eventually, it will get better. Do anyone of you have any questions? I'll be more than happy to answer. Parth, do you have a question? Okay. So no one has any question. Everybody has have understood everything. Or were you watching India New Zealand? Uh, I'll really like if it's a bit interactive. I know it gets tough doing the online session. Um, yeah, you have a question, Pratyam?
So
Yeah.
even Google, this not Google, GitHub Copilot is there, na? Even it
Yes. Yes.
gives the results in the same way.
Yes. And it's way better than what Duet AI is giving as of now. Um, but yeah, Copilot is there. Then there is a one more service from Amazon called as Code Whisperer. Then there is Tab9. A lot of service are doing this. I was specifically showing something which Google was doing or is doing. But if you see, they don't have those, you know, like Copilot can only answer you about code, but Duet AI can answer you anything generic as well. Like I asked them about creating a VM, it was able to answer that as well. So that's where it's a bit different.
Yeah, you're right, sir. I had used it in GitHub Copilot. It gives only about the code, nothing else.
Yeah.
It's just used for programming purpose.
And for code, it's amazing. We are using it in our office as well. It's really good. Any other questions, guys and girls?
Uh, I don't think there are any other questions. I think we can wrap
Okay,
up. Yeah.
sure.
Okay. So, first of all, GDSC IIT Goa would like to thank Mr. Vaibhav Malpani. It was a really great pleasure for all of us to have you as a session speaker today. And also, we would love to see you again in one of the future GDSC IIT Goa events if possible.
More than
And
happy.
yeah. And also, thank you everyone for joining today's session and staying until the end. And okay, you can now leave the meeting. The today's session is over now. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.